For the safety of women, you are the SP of, say, the neighboring district, the SP of Hapur. You have a choice between self-defense training to women, advocacy, education of people, and better policing. In order of priority, what would you do?
Ma'am, I think first would be self-defense, second would be advocacy for the people, and third would be policing.
Is that a good thing for India? Is it a bad thing for India? And how?
It has some negative consequences for India, in my opinion, because we have been pushing for multilateralism in climate negotiations since the beginning. Sir, because when big powers like the US, when they back out from such multilateral institutions, especially in context of climate change, it undermines the concept of common but differentiated responsibility.
So what should we do to stop people from not changing core sciences careers?
Sir, I think it is a personal choice that our constitution grants to the people, that they have the right to choose their profession. So I think it is best left to the prudence of the citizens to decide what career option they would choose.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good
afternoon,
sirs.
Komal. Please sit down.
Thank you, ma'am.
You look even tinier than the photograph. You look young enough there. So you made it in the first attempt?
This is my second attempt.
But you made it to the income tax in the first attempt?
Right, yes.
Very nice. It's really good. Have we met before? Online? No.
I'm not sure, ma'am.
I think your DAF was there, but I don't think we have. So, Komal, you belong to Ghaziabad.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what was the concept that drove NCR?
Ma'am, it was the primary concept was to decongest Delhi and to develop these NCR as a satellite. Basically, we had to develop satellite towns. And
How many
to
are there
focus,
today?
Sorry, ma'am.
How many satellite towns are there today?
Ma'am, I'm not aware of the towns, but districts, there are 24 districts in the NCR.
Very good. And how many states?
Ma'am, there is the NCT of Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Haryana, and MP also some part.
Okay. Can you tell me some major projects in NCR, in the UP part of it?
In the UP, ma'am, first
Three
is,
major projects in order of importance that you think.
ma'am, first I think would be the connectivity project.
Which one?
We have the regional rapid transit system to
From where
connect
to where is
Meerut, to connect Meerut
Meerut.
to Delhi. Yes, ma'am. And
I mean, ongoing or commissioned
yes,
recently?
ma'am, it is upcoming.
No, I'm saying, yeah, okay.
Okay. I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm unable to recall.
Never heard of Jewar Airport?
Yes, ma'am. I've heard it.
Okay. Tell me this debate about direct and indirect tax. Tell me one thing. Why do many people prefer customs over income tax now? Earlier it used to be income tax over customs. Now one sees candidates filling customs over that. Why is that?
Ma'am, I think I can speak for myself. Ma'am, it is because of the diversity that customs offers, because now the introduction of GST is also there. So
What is the diversity other than GST?
Ma'am, in customs, we are also working in the narcotics department. So I think that is the diversity. And I think another factor could be the charm of uniform that is there in this.
Somebody told me it's the client interface. The lack of client interface in income tax now is putting people off.
I think yes, it could be a reason, ma'am, because
They would like the
it is
customer
now
to come
becoming
and keep
more of
coming.
a.
Huh?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
You like the customer to come and keep coming. The assessee.
Ma'am, it is, I think the perspective could be that the nature of civil services is perceived to be of interacting with the citizen. And when an interface is removed, the human interface is removed, then it kind of becomes like a desk job.
So why would the interface have been removed? What's the logic?
Ma'am, the logic is that there was the harassment of taxpayers.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes,
That
ma'am.
should be
So it was
understood
a
in
valid
context.
concern.
Okay. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
What are the tax receipts for this year for direct and indirect tax?
Ma'am, I'm not aware of the exact numbers, but I know that for GST, the average collections is around 2 lakh crores per month. So, extrapolating on that, it should be around 24 lakh crores.
And income tax?
Income tax is higher because the total share out of the total tax revenue,
Of
which
course,
is around
of
11.7% of
But are you aware
GDP.
or not aware how much?
Yes,
it
ma'am,
is?
it is 55%.
No. What is the quantum?
It is higher than GDP, so GST. So I think it is around 25 lakh
You
crores.
should know, na? Your income tax, you should know.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I had read, but I'm unable to recall the exact number.
Tell me 3 characteristics of a good tax regime and 3 characteristics of a bad tax regime.
Yes, ma'am. I think for a good tax regime, first would be simplicity. and ease of compliance. So that the
Yeah,
voluntary-
don't explain. Just tell me. List it.
Yes, ma'am. Second would be tax efficiency, so that we have a good tax buoyancy. Third would be, I think, ma'am, these
Okay.
two. I
And
can
down and bad.
Bad would be, ma'am, if we have complex tax laws that increase compliance burden, or if we have uh, several deductions and exemptions which actually increase the chance of tax avoidance. So, in that regard, we already are trying.
So, do you think India has a good or a bad regime?
Ma'am, I think I have a mixed opinion
So,
on
what
that.
are the positives? What are the negatives?
Ma'am, the positives are that we are now increasing our direct tax revenue. It is out of the total tax revenue, it is 55% direct and 45% indirect. So I think that is a positive aspect because we have focused on digitalization of the economy, formalization of the economy. And second factor would be that we have focused on simplification of the tax laws. For example,
There I disagree with you. Every new so-called simplification that comes increase the stranglehold of the CA. I can't fill my return myself now. I used to fill it once upon a time.
yes,
So, that way. What about, I would have thought that you would have said for bigger issues like equity, is
right, ma'am.
equitous,
Right.
ours is not. Personal income tax payers pay more than corporate. Then, secondly, cost of collection. You mentioned efficiency, but that was in the context of buoyancy, right?
Right.
So, what about cost of collection?
Yes,
No?
ma'am.
These are bigger, more fundamental issues, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you aware that in terms of cost of collection to the amount collected, and I'm broadening it to revenues, which particular source of income is the most inefficient? Do you know?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
It's the land revenue.
Okay.
But the government doesn't abolish it. Any reason do you think why?
Ma'am, I'm unable to.
Okay. Because the Land Revenue Administration and the Land Records Administration, everything on which the edifice of governance is built. So they don't want to reduce the emphasis on that. Land records and land revenue go hand in hand.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You have chemistry as a subject. What use is it in administration? In your present work, is there any use of it?
Ma'am, as an IRS,
Hmm?
ma'am, I think direct utility of the subject knowledge, I'm unable to relate to IRS right now. But I think the conceptual understanding, the focus on analytical thinking, the perspective that chemistry brings to
What
my
analytical thinking? Chemistry, you just mug the formula and apply it. That's it. Easiest of the three math, isn't it? I used to love it. I didn't have to apply my mind at all. Geometry was the killer.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but I would like to differ.
Okay. I was joking.
Yes. So, ma'am, it is, I think, a perception that it is specifically with respect to inorganic chemistry, the perception that we have to just mug it up and just move on.
Yeah,
But I
correct.
think given that
Organic is a headache.
yes,
the
ma'am,
trees
because
never ended.
it requires conceptual understanding. I think that's why students find it a little difficult. But I think, ma'am, when we relate it to our everyday life, then I think it becomes a lot easier.
Okay, let's narrow it down to governance.
Yes, ma'am.
Supposing you're an IAS officer.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, can you think of some way in which it will help?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I think
Or
first.
you're a secretary government of India, or you're a policy maker. Tell
Yes.
me two ways.
Okay, ma'am.
And please think and tell the most important one.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I think first would be with regard to any particular department. For example, the Department of Science and Technology or the Department of Ministry of Environment. So in that regulation.
Look at health.
Yes, ma'am.
Where?
Health and pharmaceuticals.
What in health?
Ma'am, in case of health, the regulation of the pharmaceutical sector, or in terms of the food safety, also chemistry becomes important because there are certain preservatives that are allowed, certain preservatives that are more harmful for health. So
we're into pharmaceuticals.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the key issue for the Indian pharma industry today? Maybe name two key issues of the Indian pharma industry.
Yes, ma'am.
Three, which are very important.
Now, I think first one would be the dependence on import for the active pharmaceutical ingredients. That is the major cause of concern, given that we are mainly dependent on China.
We'll get into that further.
Yes.
Second.
And I think second would be the issue of evergreening of patents. That is a concern.
Really? Has it held back a generic industry? Has it held back our generic industry?
Ma'am, although our generic industry is actually flourishing, but there is it is observed that
So, which patents have been evergreened in India? And can you tell me two landmark cases where the concept of evergreening was not allowed by our courts? Two very landmark cases.
ma'am, I'm unable to recall
You heard
it.
of a drug called Gleevec? It's cited.
I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm not.
It's cited as a landmark case where our Supreme Court and our High Courts are very, very vocal about against evergreening. Also, our Patent Act, Section 3D, the definition is very clear about it. So, India, that evergreening thing is, it's really taken strongly in favor of the generic industry by the courts also. One place where government and courts go hand in hand. What
Thank
else?
you, ma'am. Ma'am, that's all I can think of right now.
What about quality? The really
Yes.
horrible quality.
Sorry, ma'am.
There's
Yes.
something like 5 to 7,000 units working without any GMP, any quality clearance, nothing. They're just
Yes.
working in India and drugs are right to you. Okay, you mentioned
Yes, ma'am.
API in that order,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
rightly so. So, what is the issue? Why are not making our own APIs? Why are we so dependent on China?
Ma'am, I think
Think and answer.
yes, ma'am.
If you know the little bit of history, you can go back if you know. Otherwise,
No, ma'am. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I'm not aware.
It doesn't matter. So, what do you think? Are you aware? That sorry was for this question itself. Okay.
Ma'am,
We'll
I'm
move
not
on. Don't worry. We'll move on. So now, do you think we indulge in religious doublespeak in India? You know, we worship mountains and forests and rivers, and we do our damnedest to destroy them. Don't you agree that's happening? We worship the Ganga and the most polluted river, worship the Jamuna, and look at the state, it's pathetic. You know, I feel like when I pass the Yamuna, that bridge, it's like a mother lying and they're hammering into her body all the time. ये वो बन रहा है, यहाँ कचरा आ रहा है, यहाँ वो हो रहा है. Drying up here, drying up there. No.
Yes, ma'am. Unfortunately, it is true. Because
So what
The-
should be done?
ma'am, I think
Let's be a little more specific. Let's take up an area. Ghaziabad is not the best example because it's already all gone. You can take up either Uttarakhand or you can take up maybe the Kaimur area, Mirzapur, etc. of UP or Khiri, Pilibhit, where a little bit of forest remain. So tell me the issue, or you can take up Uttarakhand if you want. You're more familiar with that, are you?
ma'am, I'm not aware of the specific issues, but
Issues are, what I'm specifically talking about is, it's said that you should balance development and environment.
right?
So how specifically do you balance it? You allow X, you don't allow Y. Where would you draw the line? Are
Ma'am,
you
I
familiar
think-
with UP,
Yes, ma'am.
with Pilibhit, etc.? No.
No, ma'am. Sorry. I'm
Are
not
you
aware.
familiar with Mirzapur?
No, ma'am. Sorry.
Then Uttarakhand is better. It's more top of the mind for people.
Yes, ma'am.
Basically, religious tourism is there,
Right.
ecotourism is there,
Right, ma'am.
influx of a lot of tourists.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Ma'am, I think drawing a very specific line would be difficult because there are concerns about the security.
no, but
aspect.
activities, what exactly this is steps you would take. You're Environment Secretary of Uttarakhand and you have the mandate to now protect this environment. What will you do?
Right, ma'am.
Or you're the Chief Secretary, so you have to look at both sides.
Right. Ma'am, I think for the construction part, there have to be proper environmental and forest clearances, and a comprehensive environment impact assessment has to be conducted. So that has to be mandatory. So
After that, it's done.
yes,
And now
ma'am.
the impact assessment says it can take no more. Now what do you do? Which is the fact. Now what do you do after that?
Ma'am, within a specific location, or are you talking about the entire state as a whole?
See, you put environment all over screaming from your DAF. That's why
Yes.
I'm asking you these questions.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm asking about the environment impact assessment. As you mentioned, that it says that
Yeah, most places. I mean, Joshi Mutt, it sank. Then they said, Karo, Karo. It's already, that Mishra committee is already hanging there. It's all over the place. Even the east, Dharchula is sinking. It's everywhere. There are reports, Denital, that China Peak, all the geofragile areas, the pathars are coming down all the time. It's all
right,
there. Still it's
right.
happening.
Right, ma'am. But I think we should focus on the sustainable development part.
What is
because
that? What? I don't understand that term. In concrete terms, what does it mean?
I
Allow
mean-
building or not allow building? It says thus far and no further. That's what the environment impact says.
Ma'am, I think I would go with allowing, but we have to use the material that is used. It has to be sustainable, because now with the evolution of the
It's the
material
load on
sciences.
the mountain itself.
Yes,
When you make a house, you dig, you cut trees. So it's
Right.
nothing to do with the material. Anyway, we'll move on. We'll
Yes,
move
ma'am.
on. In the last 50, 100 years, what do you rate as the biggest environmental disaster?
I think, ma'am, I'm able to think of the floods, the Kedarnath floods that were there.
Fair enough.
So that is
Acha.
one disaster.
Okay. And do you know what has been done after that? Are you aware? Have you followed it up?
I'm not aware, ma'am. Sorry.
Okay, doesn't matter. I'll ask what should I say? Okay, I'll ask a woman's question. Wanted to ask a UP one, but I'll ask a woman's question at the end. For the safety of women, you are the SP of, say, the neighboring district. You're the SP of Hapur. So you have a choice between self-defense training to women, advocacy, education of people, and better policing. Which would you give in order of priority? What would you do?
Ma'am, I think first would be self-defense. Second would be advocacy for the people, and third would be policing.
Thank you. Rajiv.
Hello, Komal.
Hello, sir.
Komal, in the context of greenhouse gas emissions,
Yes, sir.
what do you understand by the concept of stock and flow?
Sir, specifically in greenhouse gas emissions. Sir, I think I'm aware of the concept of stock and flow, but not in that context. Stock basically means what has been accumulated, and flow is incoming and
Yes,
out.
exactly that.
Yes, sir.
Stock is the stock of all the greenhouse gases emitted in the atmosphere over whatever past 300-400
Okay, sir.
years.
Thank you,
and
sir.
flow is what we are emitting now. That's the flow.
Okay.
And that's a major concept in climate change negotiations.
Right, sir.
Okay, tell me, the Americans are going hammer and tong. They're sort of breaking every climate change agreement that they pulled out of UNFCCC, and and in the US itself, they're doing various. The president is doing. He's weakening climate change action. Is that a good thing for India? Is that a bad thing for India, and how?
Sir, I think it has some negative consequences for India, in my opinion, because we have been pushing for multilateralism in climate negotiations since the beginning. Sir, because when big powers like the US, when they back out from such multilateral institutions, especially in context of climate change, it undermines the concept of common but differentiated responsibility. It also creates an issue of technology and finance that was promised to the developing world. So I think in that respect, it is a negative aspect. Sir, however, it also highlights the hypocrisy of the US when it lectures India on cutting the fossil fuel consumption, and it itself walks out of such climate change agreements. So I think in that respect, it gives India a slight edge to better advocate for the rights of the global South. So, sir, I think that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
No, but what the US is doing is also resulted in the Europeans also taking some actions, weakening their own anti-climate change policies to a certain extent. So there is less pressure internationally. So we get more policy space.
Right.
We can sort of handle this problem at our own pace without facing international pressure.
Right, sir.
But as you said, on the other hand, there is
finance and technology.
There are exactly the reasons that you mentioned. So very good. Okay, Komal, what do you understand by track to diplomacy?
Sir, I think track to diplomacy is the engagement of civil society in diplomacy. So I think that is what.
Can you use engagement of civil society in diplomacy?
Can
you give me an example?
Sir, I think the think tank collaborations that are there, or the various conferences that are held by inviting the experts from various countries, I think that is an example of track to diplomacy.
Okay. Are you aware of some major track to forums internationally? Have you heard of major ones?
Sir, I have heard about it. I'm unable to recall the name actually.
Have you heard of Raisina dialogues?
Yes, sir. That was what I was thinking about.
Okay. Tell me, what should be the relationship in India between our GDP growth rate and the government's tax collections?
Sir, currently, our tax buoyancy, which is the relation between increase in tax revenue to the increase in GDP, currently it is at 2.1. But I think we can improve it further. So currently it is, I think, good enough. But if we make certain changes in our direct tax regime and increase the efficiency, so then we can further increase
So
it.
why do the government's revenues increase faster than GDP growth?
Sir, I think it may be due to formalization of the economy, because we have a large informal economy. But then recently we have focused on digitalization. So I think that has brought a lot of cash transactions into the formal sector. So that's why there has been an increase in the tax collections.
And also because a higher GDP growth in a country like India all favors the sort of higher income brackets more. When GDP grows in India, the incomes of the well-off sections will grow faster than GDP.
Sir, although I think it may be true, but the middle class is actually increasing in India. So I think that is contributing a lot to the tax collections. So that is what my perspective is.
Right. So middle classes and higher income brackets, middle classes, those incomes grow higher, faster than the incomes of the broad mass of people, right?
Sir, I'm not sure of the exact reason.
All right. Tell me, what is the impact on government revenues of higher oil prices?
I'm sorry, sir.
What is the impact in India of higher oil prices on government revenues?
Sir, I think higher oil prices, they impact the industrial sector. So the indirect tax collections are impacted because of that, because the cost of production increases. But
so what is the impact? The impact is positive or negative?
Sir, I think it is negative.
It is negative.
Sir, if the oil prices are due to global factors, if they are increased, then I think it has a negative impact.
So the oil prices are higher, then import prices of oil are higher.
Right, sir.
And the government would collect more revenue. And duties, and cess and duty and petroleum sector contribute so much revenue. And if again if in production costs have gone up, then to that extent revenues should go up again.
So then the subsidy that the government has to provide on fuel will also increase, I think.
Would that play such a large role?
Sir, I'm sorry, I'm not aware of this.
But the two policy initiatives are separate. They're separate, aren't they?
Right.
I mean, the subsidy slowly is being phased out also. Now the fuel subsidy.
Right, ma'am.
Diesel is gone.
Right.
LPG is gone.
Kerosene is also.
So kerosene is gone.
Right.
The subsidies are, it's in any case with when oil prices fall, the government has made the oil price regime quite autonomous of the of international prices. So government keeps its stake, increases its stake, but does not reduce its stake if prices fall. If prices go up, it collects more. So okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you,
sir.
Hi, Komal.
Hello, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
All good. थोड़ी इकोनॉमी पे बात करें.
Yes, sir.
What is the issue with our GDP numbers?
Sir, are you asking in context of the
Calculation.
Right.
The
So,
controversy.
sir, yes, sir. So the controversy was with regards to the base effect, because it was being argued that the numbers are higher because of a higher base effect rather than the actual growth. But
What
sir,
does it mean?
Sir, it means that if in the previous year the growth was slower, then the year-on-year increase in this year would appear to be a little higher than it is actually there. So, sir,
बेस ईयर चेंज करने से एडवांटेज क्या है?
sir, I think now we are considering the revision of base year. It will be from this financial year. It will be revised to 2022-23. Sir, I think because the consumer basket also changes with time. We are relying on a very old consumer basket of 2011-12. So I think that is the major impact. And the production of the goods also changes. The pattern of goods that are being produced.
It's
We have
not
new goods.
reflective of the
Right.
economy that is there today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
FDI, FPIs.
Yes, sir.
What is the issue here and what should we be doing?
Sir, I think one major reason behind the outflow of FPI is the profit that they have earned in India. So this is a common cyclical event that if they book profits, then they tend to sell off their shares and they move out. But then again, they would come back after some time. So I feel that it is a temporary phenomenon. It will be because the stock market of India, overall the market is good. So I think reinvestment is likely in the future.
Interesting. About chemistry,
Yes, sir.
right? Why are you moving on from chemistry and getting into administration? You think as a chemistry professional, you wouldn't have done public service?
Sir, I think definitely I would have done public service through chemistry as well. And our researchers, professors and chemists are doing that in very good regard. But sir, it was mainly because my interest shifted during my post-graduation. I wanted to pursue a career in civil services. So
What happened? What was the trigger in post-graduation?
Sir, I think in my initial days, I was not aware of a lot of career options. So because the background from where I come, I was only taught about a few career options. So in that regard, I think my perspective was very narrow. But when I was exposed to a diverse section of students, so when I interacted with my peers, many of them were actually preparing for the civil services. So from there on, my interest grew in civil services, and then I explored.
We don't see too many candidates from MSc chemistry background from IIT getting into civil services. So how did your peer group?
Sir, it was. Sir, I'm not aware of the data of how many MSc graduates make it to the list. But sir, definitely there are many who are preparing because during my MSc final year, I had around 10 to 12 batchmates who were preparing for the civil services examination. So through them, I got to know about the exam.
So हमें करना क्या चाहिए अगर हमें 10 to 12 I think is a huge number, right? Your batch would be 50-60.
Right,
what would
sir.
be this
Right.
50 to 60, right?
Right, sir.
So what should we do to stop people from not changing core sciences careers?
Sir, I think it is a personal choice that our constitution grants to the people that they have the right to choose their profession. So I think it is best left to the prudence of the citizens to decide what career option they would choose. And sir, if we look from the perspective of civil services, I see it as an advantage for the nation because going ahead, we are looking for technocrat bureaucrat fusion to achieve the goal of Viksit Bharat by 2047. So I think it is a good thing that people from diverse backgrounds are coming and contributing.
Okay. Sustainable living enthusiast, क्या करते हैं आप पूरे दिन में?
Sir, I think it is just the small things, in my opinion, that matter. For example, I ensured that initially it was very difficult to convince my family members, but now they have also shifted to this course. So we resort to things like using the RO water for cleaning the floor, or we would not purchase a lot of clothes. Rather, we would purchase some limited clothes that we are sure of that we are going to wear them for a longer time. So one would be that. Second would be in terms of clothing itself, the clothes of the elder children, they are given to the younger ones for wearing so that we can enhance their life further. And more would be that switching of the lights when we are not using them, or planting the water that we are using, that to the grey water that we use to recycle. And Apart from that, sir, it is all the small habits that we do on an everyday basis.
With respect to food, baki cheezein?
Sir, in respect to food, we have actually limited the junk food that we bring into our house, including the packet foods, because not specifically going into the health aspects, but it is because of the fact that the food packets that are there, for example, the chips packet, they're very difficult to recycle. So either we purchase the larger packets so that they can be recycled easily, and then we shift them into containers that we have kept at our home. So that is what we follow with respect to the food.
So you have had to convince your parents to bring about these changes?
Sir, not specifically in all the aspects, because traditionally I think Indian values have been that way, that we have ingrained the sustainability aspect in our daily lives. For example, in our household, in many households, in fact, I have seen that the poly bags that we get from the vendors or somewhere, we have a larger poly bag at home in which we collect all those and then we use them again, or we use the water bottles again. It was only in certain aspects where I had to convince them. For example, the RO water, it would usually go waste. So it was not because that they were negligent, it's just that they did not think about using it that way. So only in certain aspects I had to just make them aware about it.
Okay, interesting. You were the head of Space Club in school.
Yes, sir.
Space Club and school would be 11th, 12th standard.
Right,
आप क्या
sir.
कर रहे थे Space Club में?
Sir, initially I was a part of the club since class 8th. But the head position is actually reserved for higher classes. So at that time, as a head, my main work was to just coordinate the activities. Otherwise, the participation...
What activities did you conduct?
Sir, we had an astronomy day that was organized, in which we also asked the students to make their own telescopes. For example, we rolled a white chart paper and we pasted a black chart paper at the front. So that was very similar to a telescope that is constructed normally. So evening sessions were also held where the observation of stars and the moon and...
Interesting. So has it been able to inspire students to pursue space sciences?
Yes, sir. Sir, I think I'm very proud to say that my very next senior, she was Miss Garima Agarwal. She is currently working in ISRO. So at the launch of the Chandrayaan, when we all celebrated, she had actually shared on our group, on our school group, that she was actively engaged in that mission. I think, and there are many more students who are working in this sector. So I think definitely it actually creates a platform for students to at least become aware that these are also the career options. In fact, our school had also taken students for a trip to NASA. Unfortunately, I could not visit, but many of the students went there also.
Your school took a trip to... Where is the school?
Sir, it is in Dilshad Garden, Arvachin International School, Dilshad Garden. So Kennedy Space Center trip was there. It was a 10-day trip and a group of 15 to 20 students went there.
All there.
Yes, sir.
Very interesting. Thank you, Komal.